The creator who posts every day for 6 months. Let me tell you about someone I know. He woke up every single morning at 6 a.m. Before his coffee was even ready, he was already filming. He had a ring light, a decent microphone, a content calendar pinned to his wall, and a notes app full of ideas. He posted every single day for 6 months straight, not one day missed. He followed every growth hack he found online. He used trending sound, he wrote SEO optimized description, he put 30 hashtags on every post. He even paid for a course that promised to unlock the algorithm. And after 6 months of that kind of discipline, the kind most people only dream about. Do you want to know how many followers he had gained? Less than 300. His average video, 11 views. And four of those were probably him rewatching it to see if it looked okay. Now, maybe you don't know someone like that. Maybe you are someone like that. Maybe you have been showing up, putting in the work, staying consistent, and yet every time you check your analytics, it feels like you are shouting into an empty room. If that's you, I need you to hear this. You are not alone, and you are not broken. But I am also not going to sit here and tell you it's all going to be fine if you just keep going, because that's not enough. Blind consistency without understanding why you are stuck will just get you to the same place faster. What I am going to do in this video is give you the brutal, uncomfortable, nobody wants to say it truth about why most creators never grow online. Not the surface level stuff, not post more reels or use better hashtags. The real reason, the ones that actually change things when you finally understand them. Because here's the thing I have learned. Growth isn't random. It's not the algorithm playing favorites with you. There are very specific reasons creators stay stuck, and once you see them, you can unsee them. So let's get into it. Chapter 1. Nobody owes you attention. Imagine you walked into the busiest party you have ever been to. Thousands of people, everyone is talking, laughing, and sharing stories. The music is loud, the energy is electric, and the moment you walk in, you stand in the middle of the room and start talking, not to anyone, especially just talking out loud about your life. What happens? Nobody listens, right? Not because your story is boring, not because you are a bad person, but because everyone else in the room is already in the middle of their own conversation. They have their own stories, their own problems, their own people they would rather listen to. And here's the uncomfortable reality. That party is the internet. And that's you posting your content every single second. Millions of pieces of content are uploaded across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, you name it. Every second, not every hour, every second. The average human attention span when scrolling about 1.7 seconds before they decide whether to stay or keep moving. So, let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with this. Why should someone stop scrolling for your content? Not why is your content good? That's not the question. The question is, in 1.7 seconds, what does your content do that make a stranger decide this is it? Is it worth their life, their time? Attention is not a right. It's not something the internet owes you because you work hard and because you showed up consistently or because you genuinely have something valuable to say. Attention is a currency and you have to earn it. The sooner you stop thinking I deserve more views and start thinking what would make someone actually stop and watch this, the sooner everything changes, because the internet doesn't reward effort. It rewards relevance. It rewards things that stop people mid-scroll. things that make them think, feel, love, and learn something in the first 3 seconds. This isn't harsh, it's actually freeing because it seems growth isn't about luck. It's about understanding what makes people pay attention, and that is a skill, a learnable, improvable, a completely figure outable skill. So stop waiting for the algorithm to notice you. Start asking, have I actually earned this person attention? Chapter 2. You are creating for yourself, not your audience. I want to tell you about a post I once made that I was convinced was going to do incredibly well. I had been working on a personal project for weeks. I was proud of it. I thought it looked amazing. I filmed a whole breakdown of my process, the creative decision, the interaction, the final results. I edited it carefully. I wrote a caption I genuinely thought was great. I hit the post crickets. Meanwhile, 3 days later, I made a quick, barely edited video answering a question someone had sent me in my DMs. How do I stop second guessing every design decision? And that video took off. Same niche, same creator, completely different result. And I spent a long time wondering why until one day it clicked. The first video was for me, the second one was for them. Here's the hardest thing to accept as a creator. Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking about you. They wake up thinking about themselves, their problems, their goals, their fears, their dreams, their Monday morning meetings, their breeding, the business they are trying to build, the skill they are trying to learn. They open Instagram because something in their life is unresolved and they are subconsciously looking for something that speaks to that. So if your content doesn't interest with what they are already thinking about, it disappears. Now, before you take this the wrong way, I'm not saying don't be personal. I am not saying don't share your stories or your journey. The most powerful content is often deeply personal and deeply useful. These two things are not opposites, but there's a difference between sharing your story to connect, sharing your story to perform. There's a difference between here's what I learned that might help you and here's what I did isn't it impressive. One builds an audience, the other builds a highlight reel that nobody asked for. Here's a simple exercise I want you to do for every piece of content you create for this point forward. Before you hit record, ask yourself two questions. One, who is this helping? Not who might enjoy this. Who is this actively helping? Can you picture a specific person? What do they look like? What's their problem right now? Two, what problem does this solve? It doesn't have to be a massive problem. It can be small. My slides look better. Is a real problem. How do I stop procrastinating on Sundays? Is a real problem. What's a simple morning routine that actually works? Is a real problem. But there has to be a problem because content without a problem to solve is just a noise. Shift from what do I want to share to what does my audience need to hear and watch what happens to your engagement. Chapter 3. You are trying to be everything. Let me paint you a picture. Monday, a post about color theory in designs. Tuesday, a reel showing a gym workout. Wednesday, a motivational quote graphic. Thursday, a thread about passive income. Friday, a design tutorial. Saturday, a video about mindset. Sunday, a food photo. Does this sound like any account you have seen? Maybe even your own. Here's what happens when someone lands on that profile for the first time. They look at the grid, they try to figure out what this person is about, and within about 4 seconds, their brain can't make sense of it. Is this a coach account, a fitness page, a finance creator, a lifestyle blogger? And when the brain can't categorize something quickly, it moves on. Confusion kills growth full stop. People don't follow accounts, they follow people with a clear point of view on a specific thing. Think about the creators you actually follow, the ones you come back to every week. I would bet that for each one of them you can complete this sentence in 3 seconds. I follow them because they always talk about productivity, fitness, personal finance, graphic design, copywriting mindset, parenting, coding, real estate. The list goes on, but you pick just one from there, right? The ones who grow, the ones who build real audience are the ones you can immediately level, not because they are boring, but because they have claimed a lane and they own it. There's a concept in marketing called positioning. The idea that in a crowded market, the most valuable thing you can do is become the obvious choice for a specific person with a specific need. You don't want to be a pretty good option for everybody. You want to be only option for somebody. I know what you are thinking, but I have multiple interests. I don't want to be trapped in a box. Fair, but here's the refrain. Your niche is not your prison, it's your platform. Because when you become known for one thing and you build trust in the space, you earn the right to expand. The creators who talk about 5 different things from day one never build enough trust in any of them to grow. Pick one core problem, one audience, one problem to solve, and go deep on that, at least for the next 6 months. That focus isn't a limitation, it's the strategy. Chapter 4. You are creating followers instead of trust. I want you to think about two creators. Creator A has 1000k followers. Their posts consistently get thousands of likes. Brands reach out to them regularly. On paper, they look successful, but behind the scenes, they can barely get clients. Their dreams are full of people asking for freebies. Their audience doesn't really buy anything. It looks good, it performs terribly. Creator B has 2000 followers. Their posts get modest engagement. Nobody outside their niche has heard of them, but they have a wait list for their services. Their clients refer to other clients. They are booked out 3 months in advance and charge premium rates. Which creator would you rather be? Most people, when they first start, would say creator A because we have been conditioned to measure success by the number, the follower count, the view count, the like count. But here's the thing, nobody tells you when you are starting out. Followers are a vanity metric. Trust is the real currency. A follower is someone who click a button. They might not even remember why. They might not open your content again for months. Trust is coming completely different. Trust is when someone sees your name in their feed and immediately feels something. They know what you are about. They believe in your expertise. They look forward to what you are going to say next. And most importantly, they take action based on what you tell them. That kind of trust doesn't come from going viral. It doesn't come from buying followers or gaming trends or posting 3 times a day just to say stay visible. It's come from 3 things. Value. Every single piece of content you put out should make someone feel like they got something from it. A new ideas, a useful framework, a shift in perspective, and emotion they needed to feel. If your content doesn't deliver consistent value, people never come back. Consistency, not just in how often you post, but in who you are across every post. Your voice, your message, your values, this should feel the same whether someone watches your oldest video or your newest one. Consistency creates familiarity and familiarity creates trust. Credibility, this is the one most creators overlook. Do you show your real experience? Do you back up what you say? Because people can feel the difference between someone who is performing expertise and someone who actually has. Stop asking, how do I get more followers? Start asking, how do I become more trustworthy? Because 2000 people who trust you will change your life. 1000 people who don't, they're just a number on the dashboard. Chapter 5. You are not posting long enough. Here's a question: how many gym sessions does it take before you get in shape? 1. Obviously not. 5. No. 10. No. Getting closer, but still no. Everyone understands that physical fitness takes months of consistent effort before you see real, visible results. Nobody works out of their first workout energy that they don't have app yet. Nobody quits the gym after 2 weeks because it's not working. And yet, it's exactly what most people do with content creation. They post 4, 6, maybe 8 weeks. They check their analytics obsessively every morning. They don't see the numbers they want and they conclude this isn't working. Maybe content creation isn't for me. But here's what they don't realize: the work they have already done is working. It's just working underground. Just like the first few weeks at the gym. When your muscles are building microstructures, you can see it, but they're there. Your first months of content are building something invisible. You are developing your voice, you are learning resonates, you are slowly showing up in the feeds of people who might one day become your biggest fans. And then one day, one video, one post, one piece of content differently, and everything you build in the invisibles months suddenly start to compound. But you have to still be there when it happens. Let me give you some real context. Some of the biggest creators you watch today, people with millions of subscribers, had videos that got fewer than 500 views for years, not months, years. They kept going not because it was working by the numbers, but because they committed to something beyond the numbers. Here's the challenge I want you to take on right now. Commit to 100 videos or 100 posts before you judge yourself. Not 10, not 20, 100. By the time you hit 100 pieces of content, you will have developed a skill that most people never build. You will know your audience, you will know your voice, you will know what works. You will have a body of work that builds trust automatically, and more importantly, you will still be there while everyone else quite at post 15. You are still starting, you are still learning, and in this game just showing up long enough is itself a superpower. Chapter 6. Your content isn't good yet. Alright, this is the chapter where I have to be actually brutal with you, because sometimes, not always, but sometimes the algorithm isn't the problem. Sometimes the content just isn't good enough yet. And I say this with complete love because I have been there. I have looked back at content I made in my early days and genuinely cringed. The hook were weak, the editing was rough, the thumbnails looked like they were made in 5 minutes. The title didn't make anyone curious. The storytelling was scattered and I thought it was good at this time. That's the thing. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. So here's an honest question. When did you last watch your own content like a stranger would? Not looking for things you are proud of, looking at it fresh, the way someone who has never seen you before would. Do you immediately want to keep watching? Does the first 10 seconds and the next 10 seconds, does the thumbnail make you want to click? If the honest answer is not really, that's your starting point. Here are the 5 most powerful, impactful things you can improve right now. Hooks. These first 3 to 5 seconds of your videos determine whether 80% of your viewers stay or leave. Your hook needs to do one thing: make someone feel like they have to keep watching. A strong hook creates others' curiosity. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Storytelling information alone doesn't hold attention. Stories do. If your content is a list of facts with no narrative threads, no tension, no resolution, people will feel it and disengage. Learn how to structure your content like a story, even if it's a short one. Editing, pace matters. Every unnecessary pause, every every dead seconds in the invitation for someone to sweep away. You don't need Hollywood level editing. You need editing that moves. Thumbnails, one YouTube especially. Your thumbnail is your first impression. A great thumbnail plus a great title equal to people clicking before they even know what your video is about. Study the thumbnails or of the top creators in your niche. Titles. Your title is a promise to the viewer. It needs to be specific, interesting, and make someone feel like this is the video they have been looking for. Study the creators at the top of your niche, not to copy them, to understand what excellent looks like. What are their hosts doing that yours aren't? What do their thumbnails have that you are missing? Excellence is a standard, and you can't hit a standard you have never started. Chapter 7. You are not building personal brand. Random content creates random results. If someone lands on your page today for the first time, what do they immediately understand about you? Can they answer in under 10 seconds three simple questions: who you are and why should they care? If the answer isn't immediately clear, they are growing. This is what a personal brand does. It's not about having a logo or a color palette or a fancy bio. So those things matter too. A personal brand is the clarity you give people about exactly who you are and who you are for. Think about the creators, entrepreneurs, and professionals you admire. You can describe them in one sentence. She is the one who talks about minimalist productivity. He is the fitness guy who focus on busy professionals. They are the design studio that makes brands look like they cost 10 times more than they did. That kind of clarity doesn't happen by accident. It's built deliberately. And it's built on three things. I call it clarity, consistency, credibility formula. Clarity is knowing exactly who you help, what you help them with, and why you are the right person to do it. Not a vague statement like, I help people improve their lives, something special, specific. I help coaches land better clients through content and positioning. Consistency means showing up with the same message, the same voice, the same aesthetics, the same energy across every platform, every post, every interaction. Consistency builds recognition. Recognition builds trust. Credibility means demonstrating your expertise, not just claiming it. Share results, share your process, share real stories from real experience. The internet is full of people claiming to be experts. The ones who actually show it stand out instantly. Here's your homework for this chapter. Take out a piece of paper and write down these three things. 1. Who do you help? Be specific, not everyone. Who exactly? 2. How do you help them? What transformation do you create? What problem do you solve? 3. What makes you different? Not just better, different. Why you and not someone else? Until you can answer those three questions clearly and confidently, your brand doesn't fully exist yet. And that's okay. But now you know what to build. Chapter 8. The Growth Framework. I wish I knew earlier. I have given you a lot of truth in this video. Some of them probably stung a little. That was intentional. But now I want to leave you with something practical. A framework that ties everything together. Something I wish someone I had landed me when I was starting out. 6 steps simple, but don't confuse simple with easy. Step 1, pick a niche. One topic, one audience, one problem is space. Don't move on until you know exactly what lane you are in. A designer who helps small businesses, a coach who helps burnout professionals, a therapist who helps heartbreak guys to recover from it. Get specific. Step 2, solve one problem, not 10 problems. 1. What is the single most painful, frustrating, confusing thing your audience deals with? And how do you help them fix it? Build your content around that. Step 3, create consistently. Pick a schedule you can actually maintain and stick to it consistently over volume. 3 times a week, you will actually do beats 7 times a week. You will burn out by week 3. Step 4, improve every week. Every piece of content should be slightly better than the last. Better hook, clearer story, faster edit, more completing title, 1% better every single week. That compounds into something massive over a year. Step 5, build trust. Deliver on your promises you every time. Be the person your audience can count on for real, honest, useful information. Don't oversell. Don't overpromise. Just keep showing up and delivering value. Step 6, stay patient. This is the hardest one, but it might also be the most important. Trust the process. The invisible months are not wasted. They are the foundation. Nobody builds something great quickly, but almost anyone can build something great slowly if they just refuse to quit. Whether you are a designer, a coach, an entrepreneur, or a content creator, at any age, this framework is for you because it's not built on the brutal truth is you are probably not growing online because the internet is unfair. Actually, no, that's not it. You are not growing because you are still learning, and that's okay. That's completely okay. Every creator you admire right now was once invisible. There was a version of their channel, a version of their page, their feed, their profile that nobody clicked on, nobody shared, nobody cared about it. Every successful personal brand started with 0 followers. Every entrepreneur started with no customers. Every YouTuber started with no subscribers. They weren't discovered, they weren't lucky, they weren't born with the algorithm in their favor. The difference between them and the ones who gave up, they kept going long enough to get good. So stop obsessing over views, stop obsessing over followers, stop watching your analytics at midnight wondering why that video only got 34 views. Focus on becoming valuable because when you become valuable, genuinely, deeply, especially valuable to a specific group of people, growth doesn't become possible, growth becomes inevitable. Growth becomes inevitable, and always remember the goal isn't to go viral, the goal is to become impossible to ignore. Before you go, I want to say something important. This video and everything that goes into creating content like this is made possible by the team and vision behind Vanzimili. Vanzimili is all about helping creators, entrepreneurs, and brands build a presence online that actually means something, not just one that looks good on paper. If you are serious about growing your personal brand online, about telling your story the right way, about building something real, Banjo Media is the team to know. Go check them out. I think you will immediately understand why. And to everyone who has watched this far, genuinely, thank you for your time. Thank you for trusting me with half an hour of your day. That's not something I take lightly, and I hope what you have heard today worth every minute. Keep creating, keep learning, keep going. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.